Hey everybody, my name is Mike Fly, and welcome to my living room where we are recording the creator commentary for Versus Valerie. With me are two very exciting people.
Steph, Kaliner.
Simon Fraser, I'm really excited.
Nice, and we are here to tell you about the creation of Versus Valerie and some of the neat behind-the-scene things that you may or may not know about the show.
And then we might accidentally also just start chatting about random things.
Yeah, that happens.
We may just blurt out private information about each other. It might happen.
Especially Mike.
Yes, if any of you want to know my PIN number, it is going to be revealed at some point as Easter eggs throughout this.
It's Dude, D-O-O-D.
Well, surprise ruined. All right, everybody, here we go. Episode 1 of Versus Valerie.
Who did this music?
This is Prono Bozo. He's awesome. Patrick O'Mara, who also lent us his Red Scarlet to shoot the show on. He's awesome, and this is all music of his.
The thing that I love the best about that music is that when I cut that, the first cut of that, I used a Massive Attack track, and then when you replaced it with the Prono Bozo stuff, I didn't notice the difference. It's like, how can we get the rights to this? And you're like, dude, that's Prono Bozo, and I was really confused because I for sure thought it was Massive Attack.
It's pretty amazing.
One of the things that we did with every show was, of course, we had a teaser for every episode. And we actually did shoot a teaser for episode 1 that was like Sherlock style, where Val confronts her Moriarty, which is Sexy Nerd Girl. But when we did the cut of the teaser and put the episode together, we were reevaluating whether or not that was the best way to start the series, because it's such a tension build. Like, it doesn't get into the action right away.
It doesn't grab your attention immediately.
I mean, it looks good and it's hilarious and it's funny, but it's also it was a little bit of a slow build, and we thought afterwards no, we need a kinetic way to start the show, so that's why we dove right into it. So maybe one day soon we will release the unreleased teaser of episode 1.
Yeah, which is, I really like it. I think it really turned out well, but it's true that the beginning really shows off, it really gets you into the character right away too, because she's a fun-loving gal, puts herself out there in a confident manner.
It's true. Yeah, I guess. And it does.
She has fun.
It does dive us right into the action too, which is nice.
Yeah, and sets up this dude that we're gonna meet later in the episode.
Ooh la la.
But here we are. We're shooting in the East End right now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. Cafe, which is funny because since there's a mirror up on the wall, basically everybody is on the floor ducking down so that they're not in the reflection. So imagine a room full of people where everybody's just squatting on the floor.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That was me. She was whipped around there.
And that's Simon's phone. That's Mike right there reaching into her pocket.
That's me, looking real frumpy in that old coat of mine. The coat that I forgot at the comic book store, and then one of the comic book store clerks appropriated and made his own. And
I lost that coat?
What?
I lost that coat. And I was like, you know what? If that's what it costs to make this show, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I love how you're always like, who would steal a coat? That guy. That's my head back there.
It is.
Wearing a coat.
While you're working on script notes.
How many episodes do you actually appear in? Like 3 or 4?
I'm in a bunch. I'm in this one a couple times too, because in the very beginning, when Val is running through the city, I'm wearing a big brown blanket. Big brown blanket.
You were like playing a street person or something.
Yeah, I was like a hobo shuffling along with a blanket covering my head.
One of the things I really like about the fact that we shot an OK for episode 1 is that we also shot an OK for episode 12.
Yeah.
So you get this really neat little bookend from the same cafe at the beginning of the season and at the end of the season.
And we shot those on the same day.
Yes.
Which is weird too. So they had to play this really fun, happy scene and then a very sad scene immediately after.
And it was just about to turn nighttime too. So right now we had to shoot all of Adam's coverage so that we could actually shoot the wide then and then Hannah's coverage, because we couldn't point out that back window anymore.
Yeah. That's true. And
that is Steph and Adam's old house.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me and Adam lived there with our friend Andrew Pulsifer, and we had a cat named Professor Kissy. I hope Andrew's not listening to this because it's not the cat's real name. It's just what we started calling the cat.
Was the cat literally a professor of kisses?
The cat's name was Dr. Katagari, but one time when Sarah was over, she's like, "What's that cat's name again? Professor Kizzy?" And then the name just stuck.
Right.
These are all Davin, by the way. This VFX here, where he kind of built that Sherlocky look. And he also did at the beginning of the episode all of the like recompositing for the movie theater at the Royal to put the Manborg title up there, and just a bunch of other like title replacings and of local businesses and that kind of stuff.
Nick did the opening credits, did he not? The Sexy Nerd Girl, the City's Gate, yeah. Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, how did you do that? Was that Toronto or was that?
No, that's Toronto, but it was we picked up some stock footage and then Nick applied a pile of filters on them to kind of make it like a cool jump into the actual show, which is fun.
It really looks like the Sherlock opening titles. It looks great. And this balcony we're on is my old upstairs neighbor Mysterion, who is a mentalist.
Yes, and that room that Val was looking in is actually full of like weird curios, like shrunken heads and like things in jars, like deformed animal taxidermy. These are pretty interesting.
Fun stuff. Yeah. Action figures, we like to call them.
He's got a little museum in there. Oh, and this is Planet X.
Home of the the jacket thief. They're out in the beaches in Toronto. It's a great little comic book store. And we actually knew somebody who used to work there, and that's how we kind of got into the store. And they were really, really nice to kind of give us full run of the place, which was really cool of them. Because we had to shoot quite a bit of stuff in here, and we actually ended up having to come back and shoot stuff for episode 10 with all the Harley Quinn stuff.
So many logos. How did we do that? Why did we... I remember when we shot the second time, we were covering all the logos up with...
price tags.
With Post-its, which is sale.
Well, Brett was really good at shooting with a super thin depth of field. So, like, even the stuff that is in the background, for the most part, it's all slightly out of focus. So it's not super specific. And we tried to, like, represent a comic book store as a comic book store. So, we did our best to do what we could when it came to obscuring things. But, there's just some things that you can't deal with.
Plus, you never know. I mean, maybe it doesn't say Marvel, it says Morvel.
Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little blurry, so you can't tell.
Maybe it doesn't say DC, it says Dick.
Yeah.
Because that's how they're being these days.
This is, there's some things going on at DC for sure. But we're all still happy to enjoy DC comics for sure. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Superman.
I just got turned on to DC from the Green Lantern movie and the Superman movie.
I just got turned on.
Yeah.
In general.
Just in general?
This is Julia Lakowitz. She's hilarious and very funny. And that's Bob Banks, who is playing the Craig, or the dude, as we called him for the longest time, which is lots of fun. He's definitely a fun dude. And these two had some like long days and long hours working with us, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, we actually got Bob out to a park at 4:00 in the morning in the middle of the winter to be our Dementor.
Yes, and we'll tease that for episode 11 when we get to episode 11. But there's a fun story there for sure.
Oh, there's the turn.
Well, that's a good line. Walking erection. Was that you or was that Adam?
That was me. Adam. Bob actually improvised that line. I don't think he's fine as he's pretending to be, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
There's a few improvised lines in this episode.
Get your clit out of the clouds?
That's one.
Who was that? Was that improvised?
That's his.
Huh.
Yeah, that was the only take he did it on.
That's very funny.
I'm like, this is the best take, and I'm like, I wasn't sure about that line, because get your clit out of the clouds, it's pretty dirty, it's pretty graphic, so I'm like, yeah, well, I'll go for it and see what happens.
That's Tim Gilbert. He's very funny also. We did bring a lot of comedians into this show, people that we knew who are active in the improv scene.
We know a lot of really great people who should be working more.
Yes, agreed.
And we were given the opportunity to give them some work.
This is true. I also really love that Guy is wearing 2 hoodies and a jacket in his own apartment.
Well, the interesting thing about about Adam in general is that he lost his winter coat and never bought a new one. So last winter, what he's wearing right here in this shot is basically what he wore all winter.
That's his winter coat.
That's his winter coat, is a flannel shirt and a couple of hoodies. I was like, why don't you just go to Value Village and get a coat? No. He just wore that all winter. This is actually Simon Fraser's apartment.
Yeah.
Simon, tell us about why you chose all of those cool branches in the corner there.
Those were there when I got there.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll just leave them there.
I thought it was maybe your emergency kindling stash. You never know when the world ends.
They're decorative.
I
Did
can
you
tell.
put those lights on them?
No, they were I didn't even notice those lights till just now. I gotta go home now. I'm like, where are these lights?
Simon.
I noticed things and then other things. Hey, there's Lost down there. Some Lost DVDs. I sometimes notice things and other things I'm just like, I didn't even notice that.
Can I come
Weird.
over and paint your apartment?
Sure.
I'm gonna do apartment makeover. I'm gonna put some decals.
My bedroom used to be fuchsia. The
Ooh.
walls were fuchsia, and I can only tell because I see like the edges along the floorboard and in the corners. I can see edges of fuchsia.
Look at how tall Adam is. His head touches the top of most of your apartment, which I think is hilarious.
Those last two lines there were both improvised from two different takes. And I didn't really like the it had kind of a down ending originally, and I was like, these guys are going along this course, and I'd really like to see them be happy at the end here. And I was able to cut together those two clips, and I was really happy with that.
And that decision to throw Mother at the end of episode 1 was, I think, a really solid one too, because that gave us like a real foreboding for like, what are we gonna see? And that's actually the first time that anybody has ever actually seen Mother.
Yeah.
Up until this point. So anybody who'd been watching the vlogs for like 2 years, that was the first taste of
Yeah,
That
which is
evil,
really
evil
cool.
woman.
Because we always heard her voice, and it's the same actress. It's been Shelley Kidwell all this time, but finally gets her screen time.
Yes, we had her on standby for 2 years, basically.
She did some fun stuff though. We had some vlogs where she would phone in and talk to Val.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was perfect when she auditioned for that role. She came in, she brought all her own jewelry and was all done up. And like all of Shelley's clothes as Mother, that's all her clothes. She's that fabulous.
Yeah, she definitely is glam. I think that's probably a fair statement.
Yeah. And she would call me and she'd be like, what do you think about this fur for Mother? And I was like, you know what? That's perfect. I couldn't find you anything better. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, Steph did a lot of the costumes.
Oh yes.
All of the costumes, pretty much.
Yeah, the only
Except
costumes.
except for the Borg thing and...
Yeah, and what people could bring themselves.
Yeah.
But you still had to coordinate with everybody, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was tough. I had to, just to make sure that we had no continuity issues, I had to make a really comprehensive chart.
Now, I never asked you, why did you take that on? You just like dressing people up? Are you like a serial killer or what?
I don't know. It kind of just happened. I don't know. I think there was no one else who was going to do it. And,
Oh, okay.
you know, in small productions, as we all know, you kind of have to wear a lot of hats because you can't afford to pay someone to do it. But I really enjoyed it, especially making the costumes for the, like, you know, like the different superheroes and stuff.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
I do really like that our first 5-second clip at the end of an episode was actually like 15 seconds. That was...
Nobody has called us on any of
I
those.
know, that's weird. None of them were actually 5 seconds.
Yeah.
We should have. I made the mistake of calling them 5-second previews, but we should have just called them previews.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
think any single one of them was ever 5 seconds.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well,
That's the
we
end of
will
one.
see you guys at episode 2.
Hey, go watch episode 2 now. We'll talk to you in a second.